Hello, my dear cuties. Welcome to the world of fantasy. You like fairies, angels, and fantasy. Am I right? Today I am going to give you a small story about a tiny and small girl, Thumbelina. She was only our thumb size, so she was called Thumbelina. In this story, we are going to see about her visit to many places and finally how she became the queen of a fairy kingdom. Are you ready to hear the story? There was an old woman. She was living on the hill. She had no children. She was alone. She had no one to take care of her. So she was taking care of her beautiful garden. No one visited her. So she felt very lonely too. One day, a witch came to this old woman. Generally, a witch is cruel and fearful to look, but this witch was kind and good. When they were talking, the old woman said to the witch she had no one to take care of her in her old age. The witch took pity on her. She gave a special seed to her and asked her to plant it in the special soil and wait for the seed to sprout. The old lady planted the seed in a small pot with fresh soil and watered it with fresh rainwater and was waiting for the seed to grow. A new plant sprouted with a flower bud. The old lady was so happy and immediately she kissed the flower. The moment she kissed the flower bud, it immediately bloomed. It was a lovely pink flower. Inside the flower, there was a tiny girl with long golden hair. The old lady was glad to see her. The tiny girl was as tall as a thumb, so she named her Thumbelina. Thumbelina was very tiny, cute, pretty, beautiful that her mom loved her very much. Thumbelina was very much helpful to her mom. Are you helping your mom? Yes. She was doing small work to her mom. Thumbelina used to sleep in the polished walnut shell, covering herself with rose petals. She was very cheerful. Sometimes she sat on the rose petal and floated on the water in a plate. She loved to do it. She sang sweet songs. Her mom also enjoyed every moment with Thumbelina. One night, a frog saw Thumbelina sleeping. It found Thumbelina very beautiful. It wanted to make her a perfect wife to her son. So it entered the room through the window and carried away silently the still sleeping Thumbelina to the pond. It called her son and showed the beautiful sleeping Thumbelina in the walnut shell. They placed her on a lily pad. The frogs wanted to build a new house for the beautiful bride Thumbelina. Thumbelina woke up and she found herself away from her mom. She started crying. Two orange goldfish found her weeping. They promised her that they would help her. The goldfish chewed the stem of the lily pad so that it started to float away from the frog's place. Thumbelina was very happy. She thanked the fish and waved goodbye to them. She floated away on the river. On the way, she saw twinkling stars and moon, heard the song of birds, smelled the scent of flowers. A lovely butterfly followed her on her way. She became the friend of colorful butterflies and the birds. She traveled among the grass and the flowers. She met a small beetle. The beetle liked her a lot. It introduced her to its friends. But its friends could not accept her as she was very different in size and without wings. So they hated her. They drew her away. She spent all her spring, autumn happily on the river among the grass and the flowers. The winter season arrived. How is the winter season? So chill and cold, isn't it? We wear sweaters and scarves during the winter season. But she had nothing like that. She felt shivering. She had no food also. She went in search of food and shelter. she saw a hole near a tree. She went into the hole. There she saw a mouse. The mouse invited her and treated her well. The mouse asked her to stay there itself. The mouse was very kind to her. Thumbelina also agreed to stay there. One day, the mouse was very panicked. It was found restless. It said to Thumbelina, "Oh, my dear little girl, today a rich person is going to come to our house for dinner. He will marry you. He is a mole. Mole means it's like a rat. But he is blind." Thumbelina was shocked to hear it. She did not know what to do. And she did not like to marry a mole, and that too who was blind. But she could not do anything, so she was silent. The mole came to the mouse house. The mouse introduced Thumbelina to the mole. The mole was glad to meet this beautiful Thumbelina. It wanted to marry this tiny pretty girl. It asked her to sing a song. She too sang very sweetly. It invited Thumbelina and the mouse to the tunnel which it was building newly. Though she did not like it, she went with it to satisfy the kind mouse. When they went through the tunnel, they saw a small wounded bird. It was helpless. It was so poor. Thumbelina wanted to help the bird, but the mole did not allow her. It took her home. She went very sadly with him. She could not stay at home. She was thinking of the bird. She went with a blanket to the tunnel. The bird was still lying there. She covered the bird with the blanket and hugged it. She could hear the sound of the bird's heartbeat. Lub-dub, lub-dub, lub-dub. The bird was not dead. The severe cold had made the bird unconscious. She brought the bird home. She nursed the bird back to the full health. She hid the bird from the mouse and the mole. Gradually, the bird recovered from the sickness of the cold. It was the time for the bird to go. It called Thumbelina also to come with it so that she could live freely among the flowers and the birds. But Thumbelina refused. The bird wished Thumbelina good luck and flew away. She was once again sad to be without the bird. Thumbelina continued to stay with the mouse and help it. The mouse advised her to marry the mole. It said to her, "Oh, my dear girl, you marry the mole, you will live happily. I'll buy you a beautiful marriage dress. The mole is very rich and it will take care of you." But Thumbelina was upset. She did not like this suggestion. The mouse started the marriage arrangements. It called many spiders and caterpillars to weave a beautiful dress for Thumbelina. But Thumbelina was not happy. She wanted to avoid this marriage. She did not know how to get away from this place to escape from this marriage with the mole. She was sitting on the branch of a tree very sadly, thinking of the bird she had saved. She looked at the sky. To her surprise, she saw the bird whom she saved flying down towards her. It came down and sat beside her. Once again it asked her, "Will you come with me?" This time, without thinking, Thumbelina hopped on the bird's neck. Both flew away from the mouse and the mole. Both reached a flower-filled meadow. The bird sat on a high tree. The meadow was so lovely and pleasant. It placed Thumbelina on a large pink flower like the one she came from. Thumbelina also felt very comfortable and cheerful. Once she was placed on the flower, from behind the flower, a handsome prince who was just a little taller than Thumbelina came out. He fell in love with the glowing happiness and the long shining golden hair of Thumbelina. He spent his time with Thumbelina in singing and dancing. Both loved each other. After some weeks, the prince placed his crown on her head and asked her, "Will you be my queen?" Thumbelina was quiet for some time. But as the prince was kind and good, she agreed to marry him. On the day of wedding, the garden was so lovely and lively. In every flower there was a fairy. The birds sang in joy. She was given many beautiful gifts by the fairies. One of the best gifts was her gorgeous sparkling wings. Thumbelina became the queen of the fairy kingdom. She was also become a fairy of this kingdom. The bird wanted to go away as it loved to travel. It said to Thumbelina, "I'll meet your mom and convey the happy news of your wedding. May God bless you." So saying, it flew away. It met Thumbelina's mom and informed about the wedding of Thumbelina. Thumbelina's mom also so happy on hearing this news from the bird. She too blessed Thumbelina. Thumbelina lived happily forever in the fairy kingdom. Do you enjoy this story, children? Hope you like it. I'll meet you with some other story next week. Till then, it's bye from Ijama. Take care.